Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome along to your Friday night Rabble here on the Rangers Rabble Podcast. I hope that you are all well. Hope you've had a good week. And finally, we can say Rangers are back. We are playing a game of football. No more international football. That's all out the road now until the end of the season. Rangers are back. And joining me tonight, we have my favourite person in the whole wide world, and Wilf Marshall. Wilf, how are you?
That almost sounded sincere, Martin. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, mate. As you say, it's absolutely brilliant that we've got Rangers back because, as everybody knows, I don't really do the international thing. So it's great that, although having said that, we did have them last weekend when the women had the resounding League Cup final victory against Hibs, which I know we all enjoyed immensely.
Yes.
But we're not here to talk about that. There is a podcast about that already. We did that on Monday night. So, yeah, great to be here with yourself and one of my favourite guys to talk to on the network, and I'll let you introduce him. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Well, he is the most suave, isn't he? Let's be honest. He is. He's a gentleman. He's a gentleman. I should say, because I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything funny, Mark, to introduce you. So, how you doing?
Is that the old chestnut? If you can't think of anything nice, don't say anything at all. Is that what happened?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yep. I was trying to be smart and clever and come up with something in my head, but I'm not that smart or clever.
Yeah. So I'm one of Will's favourite people. So that must make me your second favourite person because Will's your first favourite person.
I would never admit that. Of all my employees, I love everyone the same. Of all my employees. No, I would never have favourites.
Anyway, I'm good, mate. How's yourself?
Yes, not bad. I've got lights flickering everywhere and all sorts of things going wrong. But apart from that, mate, no, everything's good. Everything's absolutely spot on. And we're going to start now. I actually had forgot who was on with me tonight, right? And I didn't realise that Wilf was on. Otherwise, I might have left this topic out, right? And this isn't something that we usually do on the Rangers Rabble. This isn't something I don't think many Rangers podcasts actually do. But we're not going to start with Rangers, Wilf. We are going to start with their greeting face manager. A lot has been done over the years when we have been, what's the politically correct way to put it? Crap, right? And they have came to Ibrox and embarrassed us in games because they've just been a much better team. But they've ripped it, right? Scarves on lampposts, scarves on corner flags, taking pola's hats off, wearing them. Don't say our name at our stadium. And today, Wilf, we have their manager greeting and moaning about respect when it comes to Vaclav Cerny spraying some fans with water. I will not take lessons of morality off of them. Oh, do you want me to unmute you so you can unleash?
I thought you were dealing with that. Yeah, you actually just stole my thunder because I've written down one word in front of me just so that I didn't forget it, and it was morality. I am not taking lessons of morality off of them. Absolutely. I mean, it's fantastic that nearly 14 days later, 12 days later, so nearly a fortnight later, their manager, and I get he was only answering a question in a press conference, or I'm assuming he was only answering a question in a press conference, right? It's still really, really hurting. What makes it even better is our manager, when questioned about it, said, "Look, I want my players to celebrate goals. I've told them if they score goals, we celebrate. If we win games, we celebrate." Fantastic. I mean, the fallout from them at the time was absolutely hilarious, right? Absolutely hilarious, and the fact that it's still getting under their skin this much later really, really, really pleases me. However, as you said, we'll take absolutely no lessons on morality or good sportsmanship or anything like that off of that lot. And I'm saying no more because I don't want to get you closed down.
And I should say, I did say lamppost and I meant goalpost. So there's a wee bit in the face to me straight away.
I didn't want to pick you up on that.
Oh,
you're looking so professional tonight. I didn't want to pick you up on a mistake 30 seconds in.
See, the beautiful thing about myself, right, which isn't my looks, is that I'm more than happy to laugh at myself. Absolutely more than happy to laugh at myself. Now, this was a post, Mark. I know you've been working all day, but this is a post that I seen on X, in case anybody tries to claim that I'm watching their content. I'm really not. But I'll just repeat exactly the same thing to you as what I says to Wilf. They've got a cheek. They even use the word respect.
Massively. It's as if we've got bet. Let's roll out the woe is me. Let's roll out the I'm a victim. It's okay for them to hang effigies from their stadium. White noses, like you said, white noses on corner flags and tie scarves to goalposts. But yeah, goalposts. But I think that it's been blown way out of proportion. And don't get me wrong, granted, there is a possibility that could have incited a riot because, let's face it, some of them don't like water.
I knew you were going to say
Nobody likes water getting squished in their face. So, in all seriousness, though, yeah, there was potential for a serious incident there. If you look at the kind of bigger picture and take your blue tinted glasses off, but to coin an ex Hearts manager, it's a good laugh though, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was a good laugh. Now, well, like I say, I wouldn't usually bring stuff like this up, but the manager mentioned it in his press conference, and do you know what? I think we have been too nice as a club. I think Rangers podcasts in general have been too nice. When you see the clips of what their fans on their shows say about us, and the majority of their shows are all about Rangers and the rubbish and nonsense that they come away with, I'm just getting a bit fed up with it.
I got fed up with everything that they said as soon as I knew what social media was, because they're just, I mean, okay, we've got a number of supporters that are as obsessed with them as they are with us, but the majority of their supporters, particularly their fan media, seem to be absolutely obsessed with Rangers, and it's ridiculous. I mean, some of the stuff that came out. I mean, after that Cerny incident, there could have been anything in that water bottle. It's a football player's water bottle. What's he going to be doing? Drinking battery acid? You know what I mean? I mean, it could damage suede clothing. Come on, have a word. Just the excuses. The guy jumping up shouting, "I'm the victim here." That was brilliant, because they're always the victim. And I believe they're like that because they don't like being in the position that their club's in. At the moment, they're the establishment club. They've, through the work of their chief executive officer over the last 20 years, he's positioned people in positions of power in Scotland and the SFA and the league and stuff that are all, Celtic minded, if you like. So they always get a rub of the green. We've had our trials and tribulations. We've not been in a position to fight back. So they basically are the establishment club. They don't like that. They like being the oppressed underdog, and they're not the oppressed underdog. I mean they've won countless amount of trebles in the last 5 or 10 years, and that's always as we came back in the league. Because when we were down in the divisions, they didn't win trebles because they didn't really care. They knew that it didn't matter to them as long as they won the league. The cups didn't matter. Then we beat them in the 2016 Scottish Cup semi-final, and they shat it. And they brought in a decent manager, and they started winning everything that they should have been doing the time we went in the league. They don't like being where they are. They prefer being oppressed, so that they say, "Oh, woe is me, woe is me." This is a great excuse for them to give it, woe is me, because somebody's squirting water at me. I mean, I'd love to have seen their complaint if somebody had run behind them and thrown soap into it. You know what I mean? But that's maybe for another day.
I think that's about as much as I can stomach about talking about Celtic, to be brutally honest with you. I thought it would have been fun. It wasn't fun. So I think we absolutely move on. Kevin, your super chat, I take that on board, my friend, and we are moving on. Thank you for your support. And Cammy as well. And there we are £5 super chat, and he's not put the chat in, but it's all right because he messages me at like 2 a.m. So he gets plenty of 1-to-1 time with this beautiful specimen of a man. So it's all good. My good friend Billy, who is the owner of Blue Unicorn Digital, who is one of our sponsors. Link for them is in the description, so go and check that out. Billy's not only a good friend of mine, but he is one of the best graphic designers, web designers that I know. So go and check out Blue Unicorn Digital right now. And Jim Sloan has upgraded to co-owner member on YouTube. So thank you very much, Jim, who never fails to support the podcast. Mark, I put out a post, and this is unusual for me, right, on social media, that numbers-wise done really well, right? It's ridiculous. I'm rubbish with social media. I think it annoyed a few people. I was watching, what's it called? The Sky Sports podcast with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher and Roy Keane. I can't remember what it's called. The Overlap, that's it. And they were discussing this. In fact, was it? It might not have even been the Overlap. I can't remember, right? But they were discussing the Club World Cup. And it's something like 97 million you get if you make it to the final and win. It's something crazy like 20 to 25 million if you just make it to it, right? Along with the Champions League money that's on offer for just making it to the Champions League and playing in the league phase, it's between 20 and 40 million. So I put a wee post out, Mark, saying that the new investors, the 49ers, Andrew Kavanagh and whoever else is coming in, etc., they know exactly what they're doing. We have an opportunity in the next, I don't know, maybe, what do you want to say, Mark? In the next 3 to 5 years, if we're run properly and get back into the Champions League and start doing decent in the Champions League, and by that I mean getting out the league phase, maybe getting to one round or whatever, there's a chance that we can, with our coefficient, eventually compete in this Club World Cup. So do you think that's one of the main reasons, just one of the reasons why these new owners are looking at a club like us?
I am not 100% sure. I would not jump on it and say that I facts and figures and numbers regarding this. I will take your word for it. I think that there's potential in this club to grow, and I think probably that's why these Americans, the 49ers, are coming in and having a look at us and look to invest. I think that when you look at the size of the club, we're very, very, very or mismanaged. I was going to say undermanaged. Don't even know if that's a word, but I think that the way the club, the size of the club, and the way the club is run, they don't marry up. I think that when you look at the potential of the club, which needs investment to run, I think that when you get to a stage where you invest money, get us to a level where we can compete, as I said, compete in Europe, compete in the Champions League if we can get in there, winning trophies again, it kind of pays for itself. You bring in better players then do well, better players get sold for bigger money generates more money for the club, so forth and so on. I think that we're kind of stuck at a level. It's almost like a glass ceiling. And I think that glass ceiling, I think that the 49ers are looking at that and thinking, well, with the right kind of investment, and probably when you talk about some of the facts and figures and kind of the kind of money that they're worth and the kind of money and deals that they do, when you look at that, you think that it's probably not that great an investment regarding the funds that they need to put in to kind of push us through that glass ceiling. So I think probably, I think we're being a bit ambitious regarding World Club Championships and stuff like that. But listen, why not? Let's dare to dream. But I think that first things first, I think we need to get our house in order. I think we need to start investing and running this club the correct way. And I think that once you do that, I think it's a domino effect and everything else starts to follow from that point on.
That Wolf was the point that I was trying to make. And I'm not saying that, within the next 3 years, we're going to be in the Club World Cup. Mark's 100% spot on. Like, these new investors, these new owners are going to have to come in and effectively revamp the football club in terms of merchandise, in terms of sponsorship, in terms of, the sporting director of football, get all that running properly. And then you've got to get, the scouting done, and you've got to get the right recruitment in. By no means, Wolf, am I saying that overnight it's going to be sorted. But these guys, these are serious people, and they must be looking at stuff like the Club World Cup in the future, along with the merchandise deals they can do, the sponsorship deals over in America, and Champions League football. There's money to be made from Rangers.
Of course there is. Like you say, they're serious business people. I don't know anything about American football. obviously I know who the 49ers are. I believe they're either the fourth or fifth richest club in the NFL. Now they pay people an awful lot of money, so there must be a hell of a lot of money in that sport. And for these guys to want to get involved in football, I mean, it's no coincidence that they've taken over Leeds United. The 49ers group, I believe, entirely own Leeds United Football Club, who are a sleeping giant in England. They're currently in the Championship, looking good for going up. And they'll have looked at that and said, not that many years ago, Leeds were in the Champions League. They were, they were making Champions League money when Champions League money was nothing like it is now. And they looked at Rangers and probably, well, not that many years ago, Rangers were in the Champions League. And they were making Champions League money. And Rangers are all be well, barring a kind of 2012 type catastrophe. Rangers are guaranteed to be in Europe every season, be it the Champions League or the Europa League. Obviously, we all hope it's the Champions League. And they know that's where the money's to be made. And as Gazabuck said in the comments a few minutes ago, we were a shoe-in for that World Cup, that World Club Cup thing. But then they moved the goalposts because they wanted to get in teams like Miami because Messi's there. We're a huge name. We're a huge name club, and the 49ers and all the consortium can see that, and they could probably look across the city and go, well, we can make money off of them, but it would cost them an awful lot more money to get them. So they've come in to take us over because at the moment they've obviously realised that the directors that are there would be quite happy to sell up because, well, let's be honest, Dave King's been trying to sell his shares for the last 3 or 4 years, so he'll be easy to deal with. Right? John Bennett's had to step down from the board due to health reasons. He'll be easy to deal with. There's 30% of the shareholders straight away before they breathe, with guys that'll be very, very easy to deal with. So it's easy business for them, and they can see that if they can get the right people in place, the right sporting director, and they'll have all the contacts to get these guys, the right manager, the right coaching staff. As Mark says, we're currently under a glass ceiling. They can smash that glass ceiling out of sight.
Yeah, easily. And look, Mark, the reason that I'm bringing this sort of stuff up is that it feels as though since I've started this podcast, right, and since we've all been on it, you've been on it for quite a number of years now, it's been all doom and gloom bar one season, right? Everything's been depressing and this player's rubbish, that player's rubbish, the team's rubbish. Oh, we've not won the league again. Oh, we're out another cup. Why not, as Dee's put in here with a super chat, exciting times ahead, about time. Now we can, though, Mark, look to the future and go, do you know what? It might not happen, but A, B, C, and D are all now possibilities.
Yeah, listen, I think us as a fan base, it's about time we had some good news. Realistically, I think that it's been far too long. It seems, in a coin a phrase, it's been a kick in the balls after kicking the balls. Really, it's not been fun. Been a Rangers fan and for a long time. Is it bar the one season? Realistically, but even that, the thing that gets me, and probably Wolf will agree, because we're of a kind of certain age group, that there's a lot of young boys out there that I've never really seen Rangers winning anything, and that had that kind of, even that mindset of, I mean, years ago we just expected to win everything, every game, every tournament, every cup we went into, and that's not been the case for a long time. And there's a whole generation of Rangers fans, young boys, young girls, that's no even experienced anything. That some of the nights me and Wolf, and probably yourself to a certain extent as well, I've seen over the years, has been absolutely magical. And it's getting to the stage where if we don't pick ourselves up and start kind of getting back to where we should be, it's getting in the realms of folklore that were the good old days and stuff like that. So for me, it's a very, very exciting times. I've always been a half, as everybody knows on here, I've always been a kind of half full type of guy. And it's been difficult. It's been difficult to keep positive over the years. It really has. But I think that this is something that I think every single Rangers fan is very, very excited about. And the opposite side of that, when I speak to, I've got friends that are obviously Celtic fans and stuff like that. They are not happy about it. And the comment keeps going, do you think this is going to happen? and it's almost like they are in denial because they're secretly and quietly going, oh shit, because of this glass ceiling, because they know that we're boxed in at the minute. They know we've been boxed in for years and years and years, and this is almost like us getting, as a fan base, as a club, getting almost like we're getting set free, which is a massive lift for this club. And the sooner it happens, the better. And listen, we're probably maybe going to overcompensate and think it's all going to be rosy. And I mean, realistically, there's nobody going to come in here and start flying hundreds of millions at things because it's just not possible. So, like I said, it's a domino effect, and it will slowly build. And it needs to be the right people in charge, with clever people and good football people running the club. For the likes of your manager, bring your manager in and director of football and stuff like that. These are massive appointments, and they need to get this right, because this is the start of what we hope is another revolution. We've all seen one before, but this is something that hopefully is going to be special for this club, and I, for one, cannot wait.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and go, okay, as of June the 1st, when the new owners take over, we're going to romp the league, we're not going to lose a game, we're going to go and spend 100 million on. There's no guarantees we win the league next season. There's not even any guarantees that we compete, right? But all I'm saying is that now we have optimism and reasons to look forward and go, if these owners hadn't have been coming in and we had kept the same owners that we have, we'd still be behind Celtic. We still wouldn't be able to anywhere near financially compete. So there's every reason for every Rangers fan to have optimism. Like I say, doesn't guarantee success, doesn't guarantee we're going to go on and do X, Y, and Z, but it gives you reason to be optimistic. Rangers 55, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. I think that's a rejoin. Thank you very much. Blue Teddy Bear has now been a member for 9 months. Thank you very much. And Smudge, massive super chat, massive supporter of the channel. Smudge, thank you very much. Loving the new background, Martin. Seen it earlier when you clancied the Who Am I. The Who Am I on the afternoon Rabble. It was fair. It was balanced. I gave the people extra time after Brian messed it up. There was nothing wrong with the Who Am I, right? Anybody who says anything different is a greeting face loser just because I won, right? Well, I have, and I'll bring this up as well, actually, for Gaz. Thank you very much, Gaz. The great days are coming back. I feel as if I've maybe over-egged expectations on the start of this podcast, right? So I apologise if I have. It's just good to be positive again.
Of course it is. I mean, we as a support have to temper our expectations, because, you know, as you both said, it's not going to change overnight. They're not just going to come in. They're not allowed to come in and spend hundreds of millions of pounds, even if they had them, due to this financial fair play and stuff. Because if they did, Newcastle would be, you know, they'd be signing everybody they can get their hands on, but they're just not allowed to. So we
don't have the same rules as England, though. That has to be said. We don't have PSR. I know you just said that FFP. That's what we've got. I think it's 70%, 70% of income or 70% of profit. I don't know. 70% of income, I think it is. You're allowed to spend. So we've got an income of 80 million.
Yeah, but then you have to remember 70% of income when our income is probably 10% of what they get in England due to TV deals, money and stuff like that. So we've got an awful lot less money to spend, irrespective of which set of rules we'll have to go to. But so I mean, we're not going to be bringing in world superstars, which is fine because we don't need world superstars to win the Scottish League. You know what I mean? We need to. We're not that far behind them. We've proved that. I mean, we've scored 9 goals against them in the last 3 games. Our problem isn't playing them; it's playing everybody else. I mean, I'm slightly worried about Dundee tomorrow because, okay, we seem to sort it out with away form, but you know, in the not too distant past this season, we'll fail to win at places like St Mirren. We drew the last time we were at Dundee. You know, it's consistency. It's not the games against the bigger teams that we need to worry about. It's the consistency. We need to get a manager in who can get the players motivated, who understands. They're going to want a big name manager, right? They're going to want a box office name, because that's what the 49ers will want, because they'll want to attract big sponsorship, because that's the first thing they'll do. They'll increase our revenue by coming in and saying, right, sponsorship deals, we're going to blow them, we're going to blow out the water of what we've got now, because that's what Americans do. It's all sponsorship, right? And for them to be attractive to American sponsors or worldwide sponsors, they're going to need a big name at the helm. You know, there's no point in appointing somebody that is big in Scotland or big in Britain, but nobody in Europe or America knows who they are. So they'll bring in a big name and they'll up all their money, and it'll all come that way. We're not that far behind. We're not that. Well, I don't think we're behind them at all. We just haven't got the consistency. That's why we're so far behind in the league.
Well, we are behind. Yeah.
Well, we are behind. Yeah, but we're behind the league because we lack consistency, which is down to the squad depth. So we need to bring in more players. But let's not forget. Everybody seems to be forgetting, right, that we finishing second in the league, and we're going to finish second at worst. Right, we're going to finish second at worst. Right, and that doesn't mean I think they'll fall off a cliff, but you never know. Right, you never know. Right, I don't think they will, but you never know. Right, so but we're still going to get a stab at the Champions League. Okay, we'll have 3 qualifying rounds. But if we can somehow sneak past those 3 qualifying rounds and into the Champions League, with the backing that the new consortium will bring in when they take over, we will motor at a hell of a lick, because we'll be able to spend an awful lot more money in the summer than we think we can, because we'll know the Champions League money's coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I say, exciting times. We can look ahead and we can afford to dream again, I suppose is the right way to put it. Right, a question from Gaza Buck. Mark, I will start with you. He's been a member for 12 months, and Wolf just jumped straight in after Mark's finished, because I know that you'll have a lot to say on this as well. Me and David Edgar spoke about this on Wednesday. If you haven't seen that show, go back and watch it now, or look at the clips on the channel as well. I put out a clip about it. Just curious to know what Wolf and Mark's opinion, notice how he doesn't want to know mine, is on the new Murray book coming out, and what their opinion is on him. Mark, please don't get the channel shut down.
I'll try not to. I mean, it's a strange one, a kind of tone, because for me, David Murray brought massive success, and when I think back as a kid, the Rangers teams and the money that he spent and the things like that, you don't really, at my age at that point in time, you didn't really think about where the money was coming from and who was managing it and all the bits and bobs that go along with it. So really, at that point, it was just all about the good times. It was all about your Gazas and your Brian Laudrups and your fantastic players coming through the door. And granted that, I know because it gets mocked in that if they spend a £5, we'll spend a £10. But at that point in time, you were over the moon with those kind of things. It was music to your ears, because we were in a crest of a wave, and we never ever thought that this would all fall apart and go the way it's went, and obviously more clued up and kind of people that were aware of what was happening behind the scenes knew how bad things were getting. Me personally, as a fan, I didn't really care, and to be perfectly honest with you, at the moment, I still don't really care. I couldn't care about X, Y, and Z. He gets 35 grand a week, or he gets 40 grand a week, or he gets 150 grand a week. I couldn't care, because it's not coming out of my pocket. As long as he's performing in the park, we're winning games of football, we're winning trophies. That's really all I care about. But obviously, the bigger side of that is the fact that him as a man, and I don't know whether it was an ego thing, but he kind of brought this club to its knees, and it was, for us as fans, majority of us, it was kind of a wee bit blindsided, and maybe it was because we didn't really want to think about it or want to put that into our psyche that this was the wheels were going to fall off. But it's hard, because, as I said, it's synonymous with my thoughts of having a great Rangers side and having really good times at Rangers. But when you look back at it now with the whole white thing and stuff like that, it really, really, really leaves a very bad taste in your mouth. The book is probably going to do really good numbers, and I think it's probably more over curiosity rather than actually, do you know, that'll be a good reading. I really want to know what he's got to say. Which is sad because there's a man that's flung a lot of his own money into the club as well. So, but for me, his reputation, his legacy get very, very badly tarnished at this club. Did he have good intentions? I would think probably so. I think that probably his ego was far too big, and I don't think he wanted to ask for help or admit that the mismanagement of the club. So it is very conflicted, would probably be the best term for me regarding the whole thing, as I said, because looking back, the mismanagement was absolutely abhorrent, is probably the word, but the obviously synonymous with a lot of good times as well with this club. So it's a very, very bittersweet thing for me. I don't know about Wolf. Wolf maybe feels strongly one way or the other, but for me, I think it leaves it as a wee bit unsavoury, the fact that all of a sudden he's brought it. He's picked this point to bring out a book, just as
he's done that for a reason.
Yes, but just as this club is starting to get an upturn after years and years and years of going down the way and down the way and down the way and fighting and scraping. So for me, as I said, I'm conscious that I've rabbled on a bit, but for me, as I said, it's very bittersweet.
There's no bittersweet for me, Will.
Go on in. Tell us about it.
On you go.
Mark's right in a lot of what he says, in my opinion. I mean, it was David Murray's ego that got the better of him. I mean, about the timing of the book, for me, it's no coincidence that he's decided to do a book hot on the heels of the man he's tried to airbrush out of Rangers history. The man that brought him into Rangers has brought out a book in David Holmes. He's brought out a book that's been very successful. It's got David Holmes' name back out there. People are interested in what David Holmes has got to say. Now, he brought David Murray in, which a lot of people don't seem to realise. And it's no coincidence to me that Murray's brought out a book hot on the heels of that. I mean, somebody made that. It was actually on one of David Edgar's shows in the week. Somebody asked the question that would you have given up 9 in a row for what Murray's put us through with the benefit of hindsight? And it's difficult because, as Mark said,
yes.
I agree. I would now in the benefit of hindsight, but as Mark said in his monologue, he gave us nine in a row. He gave us some great players. He gave us Gascoigne's, Laudrup's. Gave us some fantastic players, but the downturn and his ego getting the better of it started after all that. It was when he brought in Advocat, and he gave Advocat just to go and sign as many players as you want. There's as much money as you want, blank checkbook for money that he just didn't have, because what didn't help him at the time, he was basically helping finance Rangers. He brought in the EBTs and his. His other businesses, his steel business and his property and all that was kind of underwriting all. Then the property market, the arse fell out the property market, and that's when David Murray's personal business problems began to hit, because the bank started foreclosing because most of his wealth was in property, and when the property market collapsed, his value collapsed, and then they start looking at Rangers and go, well, look, this is making you money, but you're going to need to get rid of it, because he's written a lot. He racked up a lot of debt with Rangers. I agree with you. I wouldn't, if we could go back in time, if we knew what was coming, I'd have given up 9 in a row, because the last 12 or 13 years, bar 1 year under Steven Gerrard, have been absolutely horrific. And I mean, to the early point Mark made, there is a generation of kids who have come through and think it's the norm that we win the occasional trophy here and there. My daughter being one of them. I mean, she was lucky. She was in command when we won the title in 2011, and then we didn't win a title again for 12 or 13 years. You know what I mean? David Murray, to me, has stolen my daughter's teenage watching Rangers watching years, same as she's done for thousands of other kids. Mm-hmm.
because
Rangers were nothing in that time because they were down the leagues, and they were down the leagues because of him, purely because of him. Because he says that he was duped by Craig White. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
Not a chance. He knew exactly what he was doing. That was an enormous setup, and there's no way that he'll take any responsibility for that in this book. I mean, it's a book I won't be getting out to buy. I don't really read books anyway, other than if I'm doing podcasts on here about them. I won't be going out to buy it. I'm actually hoping that one of the newspapers serialises it, because then you can read it in the paper without. And I don't buy papers, but I'd go out my way to buy a paper to read that to save me buying the man's book, because it will sell bucket loads. It will sell bucket loads because all the Rangers haters will buy it to see exactly what the man's going to say. You know what I mean? And I'm sure somebody will probably buy me a copy as a present, saying, look, I probably wouldn't read it. You know what I mean? It's just, at the time I thought David Murray was great, but looking back on it, what he did is unforgivable. He's put our club back decades, absolute decades. We're still suffering because of what he did to us in 2012. I mean, he always went through, as well as his famous, if they spend a fiver, we'll spend a tenner. He also said, when it's my time to give up this club, I won't sell it to just anybody. I'll only sell it to the right person. He sold it to a guy with dirty shoes that came out of a Ford Anglia.
And he knew exactly what was going to happen when he sold
it. 100% did. Martin, if Craig White, and I won't use the term I usually use because YouTube will censor the podcast, right? But if he was what he was supposed to be, he was supposed to be a Lanarkshire-based millionaire Rangers fan, right? Nobody knew who he was. Now, if you're a Scottish-based multi-millionaire Rangers fan, you go to Ibrox, you're known about football circles. Nobody had a clue who the man was.
No.
So he clearly didn't.
No, listen, but Murray knew who he was. Murray knew what he'd done in the past. Murray was warned and told on umpteen occasions. Murray just wanted rid of the debt. That's all Murray wanted rid of. He just wanted rid of the debt. And he didn't care. He didn't care who he gave the football club to. He didn't care what happened to the football club. And you know what? Even if he'd found the best person in the world, they might not have been able to solve the situation, but at least they would have tried. And Murray nearly completely wiped our football club off the map. And if it wasn't for the supporters, then there wouldn't be a Rangers football club here today. So I will never forgive the man. I will never accept a single word that comes out his mouth, because 95% of it is bullshit. He can bring out as many books as he wants. As far as I'm concerned, he was a cancer to our football club. And no, I've got nothing but apathy for him. Nothing but apathy.
Can't argue with any of that. I mean, like I say, me and Mark have both said, he gave us some fantastic years. Gave us 9 in a row. That was brilliant. I mean, what sums the man up and his ego?
Which all nearly meant absolutely nothing.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, what sums the man's ego up was he signed Torrey Andre Flo for £12 million because he wanted to spend over £10 million on a football player. He didn't care who the player was, didn't care what the player could do. He just wanted to be saying, look, I'm David Murray and I can spend this amount of money on a single football player. And he almost ended Flo's career because Flo never ever lived up to the price tag, and that wasn't his fault. But that was the only reason he signed him at that price, because he wanted to say, look at me, look how much money I can spend. And that was his ego. The fact that he's never given David Holmes any credit, you know what I mean? That's his ego. You know what I mean? I'll stop.
We'll stop there. We'll move on. The man doesn't deserve any more airtime off of any of us. Moving on to, we're playing the Mora Mark. We're actually playing football in Mora, believe it or not. Rangers are back. First of all, and I always ask this question after international breaks, you're looking forward to it?
Yes, I am, with a little bit of interpretation. I wonder, do I worry? I wonder, I don't know if I worry, but I wonder how we are going to set up. I wonder how we are going to play. I think that we are very good at being the underdog. I think as it stands at the minute, this 3 at the back, hit the counter-attack, absolutely suits this team and this personnel to a T. We cannot hit Dundee on the break. We cannot play 3 at the back. So this is what I'm wondering about rather than worrying about. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to have Rangers back. But still a wee bit of trepidation.
Couldn't get the mute button off there. Trepidation for you, Will?
Oh, as I said right at the start when you introduced us, wee bit worried because our away form wasn't great, although we seem to have addressed that. I'm wondering how we'll set up. I wouldn't say I'm trepidatious about it. I don't even know if that's the word, but we'll go with it anyway. But yeah, I wonder how we'll set up, because we don't need 3 centre backs away at Dens, but we don't need 3 centre backs against anybody in Scotland other than possibly trips across the city. So I'm wondering how you'll set up, because we won't get a lot of space in behind them, so we can't put the ball over the top and try and break on them, because Dundee's game plan will be trying not to get beat, because they're second bottom of the league, but they're far enough ahead of St Johnstone at the minute that if they can pick up points here and there, they'll be okay, and they'll at the very least get a playoff place and possibly get out of the situation that they're in. And let's not forget, as Mr. Ferguson pointed out today, and we'll have to call him Mr. Ferguson because he's manager of Rangers, so he's Mr. Ferguson. As he pointed out today, their last game they went across the street and beat Dundee United 4-2, and Dundee United have been in fairly decent form. So, they can score goals. So I'm not overly concerned about it any more than I would, because I'm like Mark. I'm always positive. I always think. Rangers could be playing 1970s Brazil, and I think would beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we have in our dugout the last Dundee manager to beat us.
That's a fact. That's a fact I didn't know.
There you go.
There you go. So that's why you're here. but okay, they haven't beat us in a while, but we've dropped an awful lot of points to them. I mean,
yes, we have.
0-0 draw at Dens Park last year effectively cost us the title. The last time we were there, it was a 1-1 draw. You know what I mean? So we have had some really poor performances up there. But he's got, for me, he can't set up with 3 centre backs because we don't need them. They'll be standing there counting Paulus most of the game. So it'll be interesting how he does it. He could probably still use the same personnel he used in the last game, but just move the formation about a bit. You could put Tavernier out to fullback, move Sterling into midfield. He could do all sorts of stuff if he wants to. That's why he's there. I've got absolutely no doubt we'll win the game. Absolutely no doubt at all we'll win the game. I'll just be interested to see how he sets up.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, the players most of the players have had a week and a half off now. A few players away in international duty. But for the likes of John Souttar, his last game was on Sunday, so he's effectively had a full week off. Mr. Ferguson, sorry, Wolf, has had more time now with these players. Are we expecting to see a bit more from them? He spoke in the press conference about the players have been too nice. They need to do the dirty side of the game better. Are we expecting to see a bit more for this team tomorrow?
I'm always expecting to see a bit more for this team.
Good answer.
Always, but yeah, I think that either it's part of the master plan or he's set himself up for a fall. So I would like to think that it's part of the master plan. But these players need to show more than they have done. So for me, they need to come out and show some attacking flair, and I think that even the ones that have been away have all had a fairly good week and a bit. That they've all done well while they've been away. They've all kind of some of them made a name for themselves, i.e. Raskin. Igaman's on a high as well. That he's now been capped for his country and stuff like that. So I think that. Pair that with the fact that we've qualified in Europe and we've beat our greatest rivals over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and then went into a international break that the boys have done well in. We should be on a high and we should be hitting the ground running and ready to go. And I think that we need to show some sort of an attacking prowess against Dundee. And I'm expecting or hoping for lots of goals because I think that we need to go at them. It's as simple as that. I think that Barry's shown that he is not going to accept anything other than 110% for this team. So I'm expecting them to go at Dundee and hopefully put a very, very, very attacking formation together and hopefully lots of goals. But he needs a big win here. I think a lot of Rangers fans are kind of on the crest of a wave and Barry for this, Barry for that, and he's doing really well and getting him in full time and stuff like that, which everybody will want them to do well. But you're forgetting as well that it is Rangers. So we have a bad result tomorrow, then all of a sudden it's what we do and why we bringing back. Do you know? You understand? It's that knee-jerk reaction that I hate. We've spoke about here a million times, but for me, we need to go at them.
No, 100% we do. 100% we do. Just before I come back to Wolf, if you are watching on the old YouTube and it's your first time here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure you leave a like. And then if you want to be extra special and extra helpful, once the programme show is over, come back on it and leave a comment. And I'll respond to the comment, and that helps share it through the algorithm. And can I just say, over the international break, we've had a massive response to the amount of people signing up as members. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can get up to eight extra shows a week, and you're helping to support the channel, and you're helping us on our way to the big things that we have planned for the future. So thank you very much to all of our members, everybody who likes and subscribes. Thank you for the support. Well, I can't help but be extremely impressed with our caretaker, let's just say manager, with our manager in press conferences, on a touchline in recent games. Barry's impressive.
His press conference yesterday was very, very impressive. I managed to catch it early when I was out with the dog. I managed to have a listen to it, and I mean, he wouldn't be drawn on anything. They asked him about injuries. He said, well, I don't know till we all come back. But bit of training, a couple of knocks here and there. I don't know. Gave them absolutely no indication of who's available, who's not available for Saturday, which is absolutely superb. They kept trying to draw him and stuff for him. But look, he even said at one point, I see what you're trying to do here. And he just wouldn't give anything away. You know, I mean, to stick up for the previous manager a little bit, you know, English wasn't his first language, so he probably got caught a few times by these journalists that try to get clicks all the time. Barry's not going to. Sorry, Mr. Ferguson's. I'm contradicting myself there. Mr. Ferguson's not going to fall for that at all because he's too smart. He's been around the block a little bit. He knows the agenda that they're all there after. I mean, what really encouraged me from yesterday's press conference was the fact he said, "Look, everybody's got to train the way they play, and if they don't train the way they play, then I'm sorry, they're not going to be considered for the team." That's great to hear. That's absolutely brilliant to hear. But it's also a lot on him. He's got to be very mindful that the next 4 games after Dundee, and we don't want to look too far ahead. The next 4 games are crucial. I mean, the next game after Dundee's Hibs at Ibrox. We haven't won at Ibrox in the last 4 games, so that's vital. So we need to win it. Then we've got 2 games against Bilbao and a game at Pittodrie. You know what I mean? So, much as we say we want to go out tomorrow and absolutely smash Dundee, he's got to use his squad very, very wisely because there's a lot of big games and he's still got quite a threadbare squad. We don't know what the injury situation is, so you know it is going to be interesting to see what he says. I mean, Shona McLean put in the comments that we won't know what the injury situation, what the team's going to be till we know the injury situation. But I trust Mr. Ferguson to get it right.
Now, as regular viewers of the channel will know, our very own Ian Hamish is a big wrestling fan. He does the wrestling show on the network. So I'm going to bring this picture up, right? And tell me, right, if you can spot him. Anybody spot Ian? Where's Ian? The guy holding the phone. Look at that. He's a big Wayne. You see him? Yeah, you all see him. I just thought I'd bring that up to embarrass him. He's in London tonight. I think the WWE is live in London, and I just thought I'd bring up our Ian. Interesting one for Shona here, Mark. We'll see if Cortez gets any minutes tomorrow. Although Barry does seem to go with the tried and tested, but we need to try and give him some minutes before the end of the season. We're about to spend £4 million on him.
Yeah, I would like to see him get some minutes. I think it's probably a good game for him to get minutes. I think we need some attacking flair. We need some pace. Whether he plays them or not might be 2 different things, but I think it's if he's fit enough By all accounts, he's been training for the last couple of weeks. So why not? Why not give him some game time, even if it's 20 minutes once we're 5-0 up.
Once we're 5-0 up away at Dens Park. Yeah. The only worry, by the way, the only thing that worries me about tomorrow, is a certain Simon Murray up front, because he's a pain in the arse.
He is a pain in the arse. If John Souttar's come back from Scotland unscathed and starts tomorrow, Simon Murray won't give us any issue at all.
I like that response, Wolf. I like that response. Jim Sloan, massive. Who was also, like I say, now a co-owner of the Rangers Rabble and on the membership tiers. Great pod last night. Great pod, lads. Sorry, that target was annoying me. Follow. Jim, my friend, thank you very, very, very much. Well, unless you boys can think of anything else, I think we'll call it there. Well,
only thing I want to mention, it's off topic a little bit. Obviously, we mentioned the ladies at the start that won the cup last week against Hibs at Motherwell. They've got a look back to league business on Sunday. They're actually playing at Ibrox.
Yes.
Against Hearts, as you know, because you're going.
Yes.
Along with your good lady, and I'm going with my good lady, but we'll be on opposite sides of the match spectrum, given that she's a jambo. But anyway, if anybody is wanting to go along, the tickets are still available. Great chance to kids to Ibrox if they've never been before. Mm-hmm. The crowd will be decent, but it won't be massive. So if you're worried about your kids getting lost in a huge crowd or whatever, there'll be 2,000 or 3,000 there. It's only the Sandy Jardin that's open. So take kids along if you can. I know, Ian, we didn't mention my Euro pods. I did a podcast. A lot of the members might have caught it with our own Alan the other day, about trips to watching football in Berlin. I'm hoping to make it a series. I'm basically looking for folk who have watched football in Europe that want to come on a podcast and talk about it. Doesn't have to be Rangers, because I can fill in the Rangers bits, because I've watched Rangers in most parts of Europe, fortunately. So, Mark, I don't know if you're smiling, folks. I know you've been to Dortmund, so that'll be coming up, but I don't just want to make it about Germany. So I'm going to be recording one with Brian, hopefully in the next few days, about his trip to Fiorentina a few years ago. So just something we're trying to get off the ground as a regular thing on the podcast, just for all you members. So we'll see what happens. But no, as I say, back to Sunday, it's the only other thing I've got.
I've got a question for Mark. But finish off about Sunday, because
if you want to take the kids along, it's only, I think it's £8 and £4, and it's a pound cheaper if you're a My Shares member. So it's not a king's ransom. Trip to Ibrox. I mean, Rangers should win. I say should. You know what I mean? Just come along, and if you see us up in hospitality, we're all doing hospitality, because that's only 36 quid or something like that as well. So that's not even that dear. If you do see us, just wave and we'll throw a prawn sandwich at you.
A prawn sandwich, yeah. I'm taking my
Just on Wolves, I'm off to the San Siro next month. I'm away to see Inter Milan, Calgary, on the 13th of April. So I'll come on and talk about that. There you are.
Good man.
You're fresh in the memory.
Yes. Right, before we go, Mark, I do have a question. Another one from Shona McLean. Do you think if Danilo doesn't get minutes tomorrow, his Rangers career is over? Barry doesn't seem to fancy him. Well, Mark, there's no guarantee that next season Barry Ferguson will be the Rangers manager.
Right.
And also, Danilo still has a contract and cost us a fair bit of money.
I think that probably Danilo will be, I think, about Rangers next season. I think, for the point of view of, I think he spent this season trying to get fit. I'm hoping that we will see the best of him next season. Barry Ferguson is probably not going to be the manager, so it would really be up to whoever the new manager is. But no, I hopefully see next season as the season that he kicks on. That's what I would like to see, and that's what I hope. As I said, he's still got 3 years left in his contract, nearly 4, 3.5, something like that. So I dare say that he's hopefully this season's the season that he's got back into the team, got fit, and hopefully he'll kick on next season. But one other thing I would like to talk about before we go quickly. You never mentioned this Israeli boy that we've been linked with. I have no idea how to pronounce his name, so I'm not going to even try and butcher it. But the young Israeli striker, 21-year-old, scored 17 and 35, and I think he's assisted 6. Looked at wee bits and bobs of him today once it kind of came to light that we were watching him. This boy looks like a player, an absolute player. He looks as if he's got everything. 6'1" to a 21-year-old, looks like a very, very, very good player. Apparently, there's a few other teams looking at him. Leeds being one of them. Another couple other. I think Burnley. Maybe I looked at him. But there's the boy's name there. I don't intend to try and say it until I've heard a few.
Turgeman.
Anyway, he looks like a right player, a right player, and I'm very sceptical. A lot of these YouTube clips and stuff like that just can make average players look very, very good. But I when I look at these things, I kind of tend to look at them with a wee pinch of salt. But this boy looks like an absolute player. It looks as if he's got a bit of everything. He's fast. He's got a great touch. He can beat a man. He can play with his back to goal. Some of his finishes are unreal. So he looks like a really, really good player. Very, very exciting player if we can get our hands on him. And hopefully this is the kind of next level of player that we're looking at. I mean, if we're going to this is maybe the players that, although you get your Igamans and your Jefties for like run about the 1.5, 2 million-ish, there or thereabouts, I think probably this boy's the kind of 4.5, 5 million, maybe £6 million mark for that type of potential. So hopefully that's a kind of step up in the potential that we're looking at and trying to sign. But it looks like a real player. I don't know if any of you seen anything of him.
Can I just say before Wolf comes in, JD put the name up first. He got awfully offended that I never brought his comment up. So JD, I am very, very sorry that I didn't bring that up first. He's a wee petal as well, JD, and he gets awfully offended. Wolf, the issue I've got, right, is that we could quite easily come on here and go, we know Rangers have been linked with such and such a player. I never pretend that I know stuff that I don't. I never have. And the thing I don't like about just bringing up random rumours, although I've done it in the past, is I've no idea if this is true. A, I've no idea if it's true, and B, I've never even heard of the boy.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, if we were talking about rumours, we would spend an hour every show just sitting talking about rumours, particularly as the transfer window gets closer and the takeover gets even closer, because we'll be linked with every man and his cat and the cat's cat as well. We'll be linked with absolutely everybody. I mean, on paper, the guy seems okay. I don't do the YouTube watching thing because they could probably make me look good, and that's going some, to be fair. But I mean, Israeli international plays with Maccabi Tel Aviv, I believe. He's a big striker.
I think we should go for the Greek boy who plays right wing.
What Greek boy that plays right wing?
Well, you don't watch Scotland games, do you?
100%. He is
the young lad that came off the bench.
Genk, is it Genk?
Yeah, I heard about him. No, I didn't see it, but I heard them talking about it.
Started in the game.
He'll only be about 30, 40 million. We can afford that now.
But see, the problem is we need to try and get these guys before everybody else starts talking about them. You know what I mean? I mean, you could argue we've possibly done that with Nico Raskin. I mean, going back to what you were saying about Danilo, right? Hopefully, Danilo next season is like Raskin's become this season, because Raskin took a while to settle, got into the team, got injured, back out the team, got injured again, couldn't settle, this and that, and he seems to be the real deal now. You know, hopefully Danilo's over his injury problems, can get a good pre-season under his belt, and can come back next season doing what we paid £6 million for him to do. You know what I mean? Particularly if and I hope we don't, but particularly if we do something like offload Hans Egerman, because there's going to be a lot of clubs sniffing around him. So it depends on our resolve of keeping him, Because if somebody comes in with a ridiculous bid, I don't care who the owners are, they're going to take it.
Mhm.
So, and you can't go selling all your strikers, because you could bring in the Israeli boy, and he might be a did, he might not work. He might take a year to settle in. You know what I mean? So hopefully Danilo is over the worst, and I'd like to see him getting some minutes sometime soon. But as Mark says, 1-for-5 and up against Dundee tomorrow. Bring on guys like Cortez and Danilo just to give them some game time.
See, that's Mark's phone going because it's time up, and that's his boss telling him. That's you had an hour, Mark. You're ripping it now. You're absolutely ripping it.
That's the revolution stopped, because the boys were going to revolt if we weren't here till 8:30, so we're here till 8:30.
Can I just say one thing, right? And I'll bring up this comment here. This is becoming a habit, finishing early, right? I've done the research, folks, right? See, if your podcast runs between 39 and 43 minutes, you get more views and you get more people tuning in and you get more people downloading your show on the audio platforms. But I keep it going. I keep it going all the way for the regular viewers, for the people who have tuned in for the first time, and for the members. I do myself out of views just to try and keep you happy. I was going to finish 6 minutes before the hour, and you're having a go at me. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Should all be ashamed.
There's a rumors show. There you are. Another show. Rumors show. I bet you the troops in the comments would like a rumors show.
Oh, can you get Fleetwood Mac on?
Oh, what an album.
Look at that. How's that for a contemporary reference?
I know, and it's not like you to know music. That's
Excuse me, you're a retired DJ. I'm not bad with music. Thank you.
No, it's films you're terrible with, innit?
Films I'm terrible with.
Right, folks, go and enjoy the rest of your Friday night. We are back tomorrow. We'll have build up before the Dundee game. Then for the members, we have our watch along, which will be Alex and Aaron. And we all know what happened the last time Alex and Aaron on a watch along. And then, of course, we're right back here on the old public YouTube for full match reaction. So, Wilf, thank you very much, my friend.
Always a pleasure.
These hours just fly in, and it should be 43 minutes. Everybody watching, right? Mark, thank you very much.
It's been emotional.
It's been emotional. Yes, it has. It absolutely has. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. Please leave your likes. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment, folks. Thank you for watching. And as ever, we shall speak very, very soon.